Hi guys, welcome to a special episode today. It's actually our 1 year anniversary from our first ever Football Manager experiment. 1 year ago we released a series of Wenger out frying. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Where basically I looked at 20 different managers to see who would be the most suitable manager to replace Arsene Wenger when he stepped down as Arsenal manager. Now obviously in real life Unai Emery did take over, and a superb job he's done. If you want to see how he actually performed in that experiment, then again, make sure you check out the series. But in today's experiment, Arsene Wenger will be taking over a club, but it's going to be with a little bit of a twist. Now, Arsene Wenger was most recently spotted in Cambridge punting on the River Cam. Obviously, he's not done much since he left Arsenal. He's done a bit of media here and there. Gone on a few holidays. Not really done too much, but most recently he was punting on the River Cam. Decided to go for something to eat. As you know, Arsene Wenger does love Japanese food, and he decided to make a little visit to Yo Sushi in Cambridge. Now, they say fate and things happen for a reason. Well, obviously, him going to Yo Sushi was for a reason, because sitting behind him in the restaurant was none other than Cambridge United chairman Paul Barry. Now, Paul Barry obviously instantly recognised Arsene Wenger, got chatting with him, they had a few drinks, they went to the pub. I think they stayed at Wetherspoons for a good few hours. But after that, they decided and agreed that Arsene Wenger would take over Cambridge United. Now, I know what you're thinking. How would Cambridge United afford Arsene Wenger? But obviously, with the money that Wenger has from his many years as Arsenal manager, he really got on with Paul Barry, and he decided that, you know what, just pay for my accommodation. Give me, 750 quid a week. Enough for a bit of food. And that's all I need. I will manage Cambridge United. I like working with a youth team. He likes building teams up from the bottom. He likes being there for a long year. So he's signed a long contract until 2025. And Paul Barry is basically hoping that Arsene Wenger can turn Cambridge United back into the force it once was. Now, in most recent times, Cambridge United have struggled. There was one season in 2013-14 where they obviously got promoted from the conference, because they were in the conference for a good 9 years. They finally got promoted back to League Two, where they've stayed. They struggled in their first season, but then they finished 9th, 11th and 12th in recent years. But since then they've started to struggle. Colin Caldwood has now moved on to other areas. Cambridge United have let him go. He didn't want any money because he basically know Cambridge United don't have any. So he decided to let Wenger come in, take over, see what he can do. And Arsene Wenger is really, really looking forward to this new project where he's not starting with big boys, he's not managing big boys, he's not got a lot of media attention around him. Obviously he's going to get some, but he wanted to start in the lower depths of English football because he did love England. And despite him getting on a bit, he's really, really looking forward to this project with Cambridge United. So if you don't know much about Cambridge United, they were founded in the year 1912. Like I said, they've been back in league football for the last 4 seasons, I believe. Fierce rivals were Peterborough and Luton. Other rivals, Stevenage, Northampton, Colchester, Leyton Orient. The media have predicted that they finished 13th, despite the fact that Wenger's in charge. It'd be interesting to see who he brings in. Obviously, they've got no money, but maybe he can find some hidden talent over in France, like he did when he first moved over to Arsenal. And maybe he will become an icon or even a club legend. Now, I just want to show you the Cambridge United squad. And they've got quite a big squad. Kevin Pilkington. David Ford is a very good goalkeeper. 38 years old though, so he's getting on a bit. Arsene Wenger, he will potentially bring in some new training techniques. And he may prolong the lives of these, or not the lives, the careers, sorry, of these Cambridge United players. But they got some good players. Greg Taylor is a good left back. Who else we got in there? George Tafts, he can be a good player as well. You got Harrison Dunk. If you don't know him, he used to play for AFC Wimbledon, but he's been at Cambridge for years now. Gary Deegan is the captain, defensive midfielder, 30 years of age. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Who else we got here? Giovanni Brown, 23-year-old Jamaican, very, very good player. Interesting to see how he gets on. Now, Cambridge have always had a pretty good youth system. I remember way back when I used to watch them in 98, 99 when they were very successful. Got a promotion to what would be League One now. Played some great football, but unfortunately got relegated. But they had some great players in their side, such as Martin Butler, Tom Youngs, Trevor Benjamin, Shaggy Taylor, Paul Wanless. The list goes on. These players were awesome. I remember being playing as Cambridge United on Champ Manager and being able to spank everyone. Also, he used to sign all the players for Premiership clubs. So, hopefully Wenger can have the same effect. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Remember, he signed a contract until 2025. I wonder if he will be able to stay for that length of time. 1, he might retire. 2, he might get sacked. 3, a bigger club might pick him up. Because obviously he's not on a lot of money. So it would be interesting to see what happens there. Will Cambridge United develop under him? Will he get them to the Premiership? We don't know what's going to happen. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in this experiment. Obviously, this newfound relationship with between Wenger and Paul Barry will hopefully make him stay for the length of his contract. They can regularly go to Yo Sushi together. They can have wine on the River Cam. But before we see what happens, let's have a look at Arsene Wenger's stats. He's got a massive reputation, so he should be able to bring in some good players. This contract should take him up to about 74, 75 years of age. We obviously know about his judge and player potential, his judge and player ability. Hopefully that will help him to get some decent players, although he tends not to use a budget on one. He's also good at adapting. He's very determined. He's not very disciplined, but I don't think Cambridge United really need that at the moment. But he will be looking to bring back attacking football, and that is what Cambridge United fans want. So it's going to be interesting to see, and he loves working with youngsters. So I believe he will develop Cambridge United. It's going to be really good to see what happens. Obviously, he likes to have a large squad, but he likes to sign a lot of youth players for the squad. So we'll see what happens there. And he likes to fit players into his preferred tactic, which is obviously a 4-2-3-1. Now, if you didn't know, Wenger obviously came over with the intention of playing 3 at the back, but it didn't work out, and he soon after switched to 4-4-2, which Arsenal were renowned for when he first came over. But it'll be interesting to see what formation he plays, and we're going to come back in 2025 to see if Arsene Wenger stayed for the length of his contract, and also to see how Cambridge United performed in those years. So guys, I fast forwarded all the way to June 2023 just to see how Wenger is getting on at Cambridge United, to check on the save. Obviously he had a contract till 2025, but let's see if he is still at Cambridge United. Now remember, this is 5 years on, and as you can see, Arsene Wenger at 73 years of age is currently the manager for France in the game. Obviously his stats are not going to have changed, but it'll be interesting to see how long he stayed at Cambridge United for. And as you can see here, he only lasted until March, 16th of March to be exact, 2019, where he then left to become manager at Dijon. He only lasted there for, 9 months? Just under 9 months. Until Newcastle United snapped him up in December. There's a break of 8 days there, so I don't know if he got sacked by Dijon, then took over at Newcastle, where he was for only 7 months, and then he was announced as the France manager. So it looks like he didn't get sacked there, but we'll quickly have a look at his Cambridge United career. So this is in order. So his first thing was to loan Hayden Coulson from Middlesbrough. Seems like a pretty good player. 25 years of age as well. He's currently at Swindon. So, he's obviously going to be younger now. Qualified for the Checkatrade Trophy Southern second round. Knocked out by Crawley, though, unfortunately. Sky Bet, Manager of the Month for December at Cambridge United. Great performance there. He sold Osadebe to Dundalk for 15,000. Obviously, he looks like a decent player, so he sold him there. He then sold captain Gary Deegan to Dundalk as well. 25,000 up touch he went up to. Not going to look at these players, though. David Ford then left for 1,000 to Cork City. They like going to Ireland, didn't they? And he then appointed George Maris as Cambridge United vice-captain. So George Maris is still there, defensive midfielder, doing very well. Bradley Halliday was then appointed as captain, and he is still at the club. 2019 is when he signed Michael Arai on a free transfer, and I cannot even click on him. So I don't know if he's fake or he's not alive anymore. I don't know. And then he left as manager in 2019. Any landmarks there? Any awards? Obviously, you got the Sky Bet League 2 Manager of the Month award in December. Competitions. Yeah, knocked out by Sunderland in the FA Cup. That weren't expected. Obviously, you've got the transfers there. There's a few other ones. A few other loanees from Everton and what's his name. Yeah, so it was only a brief spell. Let's see what happened at Dijon. He was, in fact, sacked. Knocked out by Nancy in the Coupe de Liga. 3rd round. He bought some players in there. Sold a couple of players. So, yeah, disappointing at Dijon. How did he do at Newcastle? He resigned as manager of Newcastle to then take over as France. Bought Milan Cyprien. Not a bad player. Bought him in. Sold Victor Fernandez. Cheap. Signed Sadou Diallo. He doesn't look that great, to be fair. So, yeah, he was offered the France role. He then resigned. Decided to join up at France. Bought Sully Kakai, who's actually at Crystal Palace at the start of the game. What's this one? Bought Ryan Sessegnon from West Ham for 34 million. He is now at Arsenal. How has Ryan Sessegnon got on? Not very well. So this guy who's supposed to be amazing, his average rating is very poor. He hasn't been very productive stats-wise. So I probably wouldn't bother signing him. Released a few players there. So yeah, that's his career. But a little bit disappointing. I was hoping that he was going to stay at Cambridge with a project. Obviously, him and Paul Barry like to go to Yo Sushi and Wetherspoons. And obviously that relationship potentially broke down once he was offered a job at Dijon. I was hoping he was going to stay for the entire 6 or 7 years and work on Cambridge, but currently they are 4th in League 2. Let's have a quick look at their league performance and see how they done with Wenger in charge. So obviously he took over this season here. They ended up finished 7th, so obviously he left in March. He done pretty well, but 7th place when you got Arsene Wenger in charge is not particularly an impressive performance. He then left. They brought in someone else. They finished 8th the next season. Then they finished 9th. Then 11th, so they've slowly declined. And then this season they're currently in 22nd. And, well, that means they're No, they just missed out on relegation. So, obviously, under Wenger, potentially it was a building process. They would have gone up this way, but instead, after he got sacked, they started to drop down again. So an interesting experiment there. Like I said, I was expecting him to, or hoping that he would stay for the entirety of the contract that he was given, 20-25. I don't know if there's anything in the editor that I can do to say that he's not going to leave. Obviously, his loyalty initially finished when he left the Arsenal job. He's not been very loyal since then. He's been a job hopper. He's a job hoe. Wenger is a job hoe now that he's left Arsenal. So yeah, that's the experiment, guys. Like I said, a bit short. Not what we wanted, but it was a little special episode just to see what would happen if he took over at Cambridge United. But I just want to say, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you've liked this episode, then please hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, you like this content, you want to see more experiments, or I've got my current save on FM19 is the 2003-04 database with Arsenal made by the mad scientist. So if you want to check that out, then please subscribe to the channel. And thank you very much. I will see you guys soon.